Welcome to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC. It's your opportunity to learn more about your garden and your yard, about dealing with pests, and about taking care of the birds. You can be part of the show with your questions at 395-1450. That's 395-1450. And now, from De Bruyne Seeds on Washington Avenue in Zeeland, here's the Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwsen.
And good morning, everyone. What a lovely day we have to sit inside and watch our birds. We have a special show today on birds. You are welcome to call us at 616-395-1450 if you have a question about your backyard birds or what's going on. But I have got Curtis Dykstra from the Ottawa County Parks with me today, and we're going to talk birds.
Well, thank you for having me today, Jan. It's good to be back. I remember being here last January and was glad to be invited back. So thanks for having me.
Well, that's just fine. We've got something called Coffee with the Birds coming up next weekend.
Yeah, we are on the precipice of our first Coffee with the Birds event. Yes, next Saturday at the Nature Center at Hemlock Crossing County Park. We will be holding our Coffee with the Birds event. We have one each month through the winter. And on the little magnets I got over there for you, it's got all the dates there. I'll mention those. But the 9th of December is our first one. And then January 20th, February 17, and March 16 are all of our Coffee with the Birds dates. And you can come in person to the Nature Center. 9:30 we start, and we watch birds at the feeder. It's as simple as that, but we make it a little bit more complicated because we get coffee and we have donuts, okay?
Donuts, okay, everybody. My guys, if they hear that, they will be all there, yeah.
So coffee and donuts and a nice relaxed time to watch the birds at the feeder. I help identify the birds. I answer questions from people in the audience there. We are likely to have, we're going to have some live stream options coming up, so I've got ways to stay abreast to those details as well, so hopefully we'll be online as well as in person. But we do a bird watching session at 9:30 till about 10:20, and then I do a presentation in the great room on some bird-related topic, and then we do another feeder watching session, again at a little after 11 o'clock till about noon. So if you want to come early or come late, you've got two options for bird feeder watching sessions, and but it's always nice if you come by about 10:30. We've got the presentation as well, so it's a fun time, and there's been a lot of things leading up to the event as well, like our Mug Club Bird Contest reveal event that we had about a week and a half ago.
You got to talk more about that because that's really cool.
Yeah, we have a photo contest every year, and basically people can enter the photo contest if they've taken a picture of a bird in Ottawa County within the last year. And we count from November 1st of the last year until October 31st of this year as the year. And then we judge the photos, and we come up with a winner that is revealed as our Mug Club Bird Contest winner that goes on our mugs. We make mugs with the photo on it that can be sold at the Nature Center, and actually we sell them online, and you can pick them up at the Nature Center. And if you want information on that, I'll just give the website out here.
Okay, yeah.
miottawa.org/birding. Or if you just Google search Ottawa County Birding, you should come up with our website. And that contest, then we have a winner, we put the bird on the mug, and we sell those mugs as a membership, a Mug Club membership that helps support the Coffee with the Birds program, and that helps support feeding the birds at the feeders there at the Nature Center. And it's $25, and you get the beautiful mug. This year's winner is a beautiful Cape May warbler, a male.
Okay, how do you know this is a male?
The bright colors, the bright yellow
Okay.
with the streaks on it, the orangish cheek patch, and the dark cap. The females look quite a bit duller than this. I wish we could show you over the radio,
Yes.
but you can go to the website and check it out. There is actually an icon that you can click on for the photo contest, and it'll take you to a site that has all of the winning photos on it, including our Cape May warbler, which was taken by Jeannie Stoddard. And she just took a fantastic picture that goes really well on our mugs now. You can see pictures of the mugs there as well. But really encourage you to check that out and support us at the Nature Center with your Mug Club membership. You can purchase that by clicking on the Mug Club membership icon at the website. Again, miottawa.org/birding. And I did want to mention, if you don't mind, just a couple of the other photo contest winners. So Jeannie Stoddard has the picture of the Cape May warbler.
Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous.
And then we've got 4 other honorable mention photos that were taken. Eastern Kingbird by Lucas Timmer, and the Eastern Kingbird is grasping a wasp in his bill. Really neat picture.
Oh, I want that bird at my house.
Prothonotary Warbler by Ryan Beebe. That was taken at Eastmanville Bayou County Park. And Eastern Bluebird, taken by Andy Byerly from West Olive. And then Green Heron, taken by Carl Manning. And that was taken in Zealand, the picture. Yeah, some fantastic pictures. It was hard to narrow it down to just 5. But if you want to see them all, there's links on the website that you can see a video of all 85. It's 85 entries into the photo contest. It's
a
lot of fun. A lot of fun, and a neat way to get people involved from the community. Well,
I'm always taking pictures of my birds when I think I see something really cute, but I don't know if I have anything that is like the Cape May warbler here, but I do take pictures of and I know a lot of people do.
Yep, and we encourage anybody to participate. It doesn't have to be, you're a professional photographer. We want anybody to participate.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a special bird that hardly anyone ever sees.
No. We've had lots of different representatives on our mugs, including red-headed woodpecker. We've had Cape May warbler. Or excuse me, that's this year. I'm looking right at my. We've had tufted titmouse, golden crowned kinglet, orchard oriole. We've had a variety on our mugs. Yeah, happy to have a nice new one to represent for this year.
I see these guys in May.
Yes.
That's about the only time I ever see them.
Correct. Yeah, the Cape May warbler is not a breeding bird for here. They winter in Central and South America, and then they come through Michigan on the way up to their breeding grounds in the boreal forests of Canada. So we see them in May, and then once May is over, they're pretty much gone, and then we'll see them again late August into September when they're migrating south again. But then they don't look like this. They only look like this in the springtime. They lose their bright colors during their before their fall migration south. So the bright colors are for territory and to attract a mate, and so they don't need those on the way south. They do need them, and they're also singing on the way north. So May is a wonderful time to get out and see your brightly colored birds and to hear them singing as well.
Well, I usually hear the warblers singing before I ever see them because they're usually like in the pine trees or in whatever, resting or whatever they're doing. But I can hear them singing, and then I got to keep my eye out. And then all of a sudden you'll see that little patch of yellow. So one of the warblers coming through. I find those really fun to watch.
Yep. That's a really important thing to note, is that you use your ears before you use your eyes when you go birding, especially in the springtime when things are singing. And when you use your ears, then you follow your ears toward where the bird is, and then you use your eyes and watch for movement, watch for those little bright birds flitting around in the brush, and that's a great way to find them. Yep.
That's exactly what Eldon Gray does, or did when we would go on birding walks with him. He would always, chipping sparrow, and he would point in the direction, and then you would have to go, and then he'd point in another direction, and you didn't see them yet, but he heard them.
He heard them. Yep.
And so that's the way I kind of get used to them. I hear a song out in the backyard, and I look for who's singing, so I can say, oh yeah. Now I got that. That one's the towhee, and this is the And
there's a really neat tool out there that a lot of people have been finding to help with learning your bird songs. Of course, you can always join an Ottawa County Parks bird walk. I love birding by ear and helping people to understand
Yes.
the birds by ear. But also, there's an app called Merlin, Merlin, the Merlin Bird ID app. And I see you're pulling it up on your phone already, Jan.
Yep.
It's a fantastic way to learn your birds. It's a tool that will help you to hear the birds, and it will decipher what you're hearing. So when the birds make sounds, they actually compare the sound
Yes.
that it hears to their database of all the sounds, and can actually tell you what they think they hear. So you could be sitting out on your porch, and a cardinal is singing, and if you don't know what a cardinal sounds like, well, your Merlin Bird ID app can tell you that's a cardinal.
Yes.
One thing I do caution people on is that you want to make sure your sightings are 100%. So when you use it as a tool, use it as a tool,
Yes.
and not just, oh, well, it said this, so therefore this, because it does make some mistakes. It
Well,
does
yeah,
make some
okay. I
mistakes.
had one that was way off, but most of the time, it really, you get the sound, it says what it is, it will give you a picture of what it
Oh,
looks
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and then oh yeah, it's right there, and then
Yep.
you can watch them singing,
Yes.
and and it really does help. Then that kind of sinks in your brain, so every time you
Yes.
hear it from now on,
Yep.
that's the song that
Yep.
you. But I'm one of those nerds that sits by the window and watches the birds and listens all and watches the feeders. I love watching the feeders. I think that's great fun, but I never can tell the difference between males and females. And I remember watching one of your live streams last
Mhm.
year, and you're going, "Oh, and that's the male, and this is the female over here." And I am looking, and they look exactly alike. And how in the world is he doing that?
A lot of it is repetition. People have taught me a lot. And then just like when you meet a friend so many times, you recognize them a whole lot easier each time you meet them,
Yes,
right?
that's
You
true.
know their mannerisms, you know the things to look for. It's the same thing with birds, and actually with bird songs, bird shape, bird behavior. I see a robin flying over. I say, oh, there goes a robin. And somebody says, well, why do you know that's a robin? I said, because I've seen a robin flying over my head thousands of times
Yes.
and known it to be a robin. So repetition is really, really important. And that's what Merlin does with bird song. That you can repeat and continue to know and match what bird is to a song, so that helps you really to learn it. But repetition really with any aspect of bird identification is key to learning your birds.
Well, yes, that is very true. And in flight, like people will come in all the time to DeBrine's and go, "The finches are gone. I have no finches." But if you look outside and watch them fly, they're the ones that do that really funny flight pattern.
Yep.
They're kind of,
Undulate up and down.
yes, it's really weird. So you can tell which ones are the finches. Now, I may not know a house finch flying from a goldfinch, but I
Mhm.
know that's a finch out there.
Yep.
And, maybe you want to try some different food. They love, if you've been doing Niger, you might want to think about doing some sunflower chips. And we're going to talk more about what food for what birds right after these messages.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBrine Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwsen.
And we're back, and I have Curtis Dykstra from the Ottawa County Parks. And we've been talking about birds this morning. And we were talking before the break about what to feed different birds. If you want to, everybody wants to get finches. Everybody wants to get the
Mhm.
cardinals. I mean, do you feed different things for different birds?
Certainly do. And I need to give a shout out to DeBrine Seed, because they got me last year onto the sunflower hearts. And we use the coarse sunflower hearts at the Nature Center, but you've also got medium sunflower
Yes.
chips too, the smaller ground, depending on the size of your feeder. Since we've started feeding those, our traffic at the feeders has significantly increased. So I think the birds really like the less amount of work to get at the seed inside,
That explains like why my guys like donuts better than oranges when I put them in
There
the
you go.
lunchroom. Okay, yeah, so that's
You don't
why.
have to work as much for your food.
I mean, it's right there. You can just grab it and eat it. Yeah, I
But the finches have really taken over our feeders last year and now this year, and we've actually had some pine siskins at the feeder this year as well. But we've had probably about 40 or so goldfinches at a time up in the trees above, and then at the feeders covering our feeders. I was showing you some pictures
yes.
earlier, and they empty out some of our feeders in one day. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people like to come in and watch the birds at the feeders at the nature center, which you're welcome to do. The public is welcome to come to the nature center Tuesday through Saturday 9 to 5, and Sunday from noon to 5. We are closed on Mondays, but we've got the wildlife den open for you to come and enjoy the birds at our feeders at the nature center. So you're welcome to come.
How fun is that, folks? And you get to look at their feeders, look at their setup. Now, last year during Coffee with the Birds, I had to work, and you live streamed, and
Yes.
that was fun. I got to watch that as you were doing it. Are you going to do that again this year?
Yes, we've run into some difficulties with a grant we received and trying to work out the details with the contractor that we had, and that kind of fell through. So that set us back a little bit as far as having our own equipment. But I've met with somebody who's going to be willing to help us out this year. He's not going to be able to help us out on December 9th, so I'm going to try to set up my own little setup. So it might not be a grand setup where I've got, up close pictures of all the birds, but at least you'll be able to see me and the people in the nature center and hear our conversations and participate with your own questions online. So we'll have some sort of an online option for December 9th, but then January and February and March dates, we should have a nicer setup. So
Oh,
we're working
cool.
through the details of that. And to stay abreast to those details, go to the website, miottawa.org/birding. And the best way to stay in tune with the details is to sign up for the birding update newswire emails that I send out. So you can put your email address into the box on that website that says to connect with us. I think it says connect with us, and submit your email address there, and then you'll be on my newsletter email address and email list, and we send out at least once a month, kind of a newsletter thing about all kinds of birds in the news, local sightings, that kind of stuff,
Okay.
and programs. But then also, when there needs to be update in between, I'll send out a message. Here's the link for Saturday's Coffee with the Birds. So that's a really good way to find it. You can also just go onto the website and click Coffee with the Birds icon, and it'll take you to a site that has the program embedded on it as well. So you
Okay.
can find everything that you need right there on the website, miottawa.org/birding.
Wonderful. Now, I've had they took the this huge spruce tree that I had in my backyard. It got taken down, and I found all of a sudden the birds numbers just dropped.
Mm.
Now you have a solution, because I know that the birds like that staging area, like to perch and look at the feeder
Yes,
before they fly over to the feeder.
correct.
You have some ideas about that.
Yeah, it is really important. That's a really important thing for people to consider when putting up a bird feeder, is that the birds have a place to perch before they come into the feeder. So if you are without that, you can jerry rig something for yourself. So say you've got a condo and you have a balcony and you have no trees right there, but you want a feeder hanging off of it. What you can do is you can get a bucket or a little planter or something like that, put some rocks in it or bricks, and then take a branch that's fallen out of your tree this fall or something along those lines. Or maybe you got to trim one off of your shrubbery.
Or
And
you see the neighbor has brought a
yeah,
branch out to the road.
right.
Use that one.
Yep, you got it, and stick that in, and then the bricks can hold it up. And if it's got nice branches off of it, almost like a miniature tree, well, the birds don't care. That's a great place for them to land before they come over to the feeder. So I've seen many people do that, and it works like a charm. Sometimes, if you want, you can actually take trimmings from your trees and your bushes and just poke the ends of those right into the ground. I've had big branches come down, and then I just poke them into the ground, and the birds love it. So you can have a shrub without having to wait the time to grow that shrub. Or if you're planting shrubs and hoping for them to grow, in the meantime, you can do something like that, and just use a little bit of ingenuity to provide a place for the birds to perch. It will provide more comfort for the birds, and therefore you'll have birds for a longer amount of time and more birds when you provide them a comfortable place to perch and a comfortable place to escape to if there's any predators around.
Yes. That's why
So,
I've
brush
got a
pile.
new spruce tree, but it's not as big as the last one,
Yeah.
so they aren't coming there. So then now they have to go to the other trees in my backyard. But I love that idea. I'm going to try that. But I always do the old, once the Christmas tree is done, it goes out in the backyard.
Yes, that is an excellent way to provide shelter for birds, is to just take that Christmas tree, lay it down, or even stand it up in a corner somewhere nearby your feeders, and it's just like your spruce tree, only eventually by springtime, they're going to lose their needles and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But,
usually about April, it's looking pretty tired. But I just kind of put it in the corner of the deck. And I can watch the birds go in and out of there.
Yep.
And on a cold night, I'm always surprised at how many birds fly in there. It's fun to watch that.
Yeah. The evergreens are particularly good places for birds, to provide birds for shelter, because overnight, as you say, they'll hide out in there. And then it's also harder for predators to find them in there. So they find more security in those evergreens. So definitely evergreens are a great way to provide them shelter.
So, and I've known, the bird bath too. I don't put it under the trees, but I put it near the trees, and they love that too.
Yeah, it is important, just like with the bird feeders, to provide perches near the bird feeders as well as the water, because the closer those things are to the things that the birds want, then the more likely they are to use them. So yeah, if you put water out during the winter and you have a little heater in it, just make sure you change that water out frequently, because like daily. But then also have some sticks. Sometimes I put it nearby a brush pile. So maybe your Christmas tree's laying down on the ground out there, and you just stick some sticks that come out from that brush pile right down to the edge of the water, so that they have something to kind of hop down to get to the water. And in the water, they don't always like to sit in it. They'll perch on a branch nearby it, so that they can tip over and drink out of it. So make sure that you provide access to water for those birds.
Yes, I'm always surprised how many birds are out there when I put out the fresh water in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
It's part of my little ritual, because my cat watches the birds all day long. And boy, the cat has a fit if I'm not out there doing everything I normally do to feed the birds, get the birds their water, and make sure that everything is okay out there for them. And then I can leave my house knowing that I'm in good hands with the cat watching the feeder. And there's a lot of people that have animals that watch the feeders.
Oh, yeah.
And it's great entertainment for them.
We've had people tell me that they watch Coffee with the Birds online, and their cat just sits there and watches the TV screen.
Oh, I don't doubt that. My cat loves that. When you put on one of those cat videos of the feeder, he loves that. It is so much fun. My sister got for her birthday a bird feeder that's got a camera in it.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And every time something gets in the feeder, she gets this notice. 90% of the time, it seems like it's a squirrel. But
there's several of those on the market now. They have a little camera, and they're triggered by motion, and then some of them are able to identify the bird that it just took a picture of.
Oh, wow.
Some of them are live stream video cameras, so that when they're triggered, then you can get notified or whatever, and take a quick look at what's at the feeder at that moment, wherever you are.
Because when you're at work, the dog is only the one that knows it's there,
and they're not going to tell you what they saw.
No, they never tell me what they saw. Never, ever. But yeah, I thought that was kind of great fun. So if you could afford it, and Christmas is coming.
There you go.
We don't have them at DeBrine's, but we've got just about every other feeder in the world at DeBrine's, and about every food for birds at DeBrine's also. So you can just run over there and grab that. But I'm all excited now. I'm going to sign up for the newsletter so I can what's on, because I have not seen a pine siskin yet this winter. So now you tell me they're in the area. So now I'll start watching for them.
And pine siskins will show up at, like I said, the sunflower hearts, but also if you that finch mix, I use the finch mix that I get from DeBrine
Oh
as
yeah.
well, and they like that as well. You
Oh
put that
really?
in a finch mesh
Yeah.
feeder, and they will come to that as well. Just need to make sure that it's fresh. You know, if you've kept it from last year and didn't use it all, sometimes
I
it can
don't.
dry out.
I
So
tell
you got to
people to
get
get
fresh
rid of
seed.
it. Yes,
Yep,
you need to
got to
get it
get fresh
fresh.
seed.
We go through that stuff so quickly. We get bird food semis probably every week with
Hmm.
40,000 more pounds of bird seed.
Wow,
And
going through a lot of seed there.
yeah, and we cycle it so quickly that I mean that's probably best at your house too. Don't buy more than what you're going to use in
Hmm.
the next
Yep.
month.
Yeah, if you haven't ever fed birds, get just a little bit and start from there. And as you build your activity in your yard, then you can get more.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I'm always because everyone. Well, your thistle's probably stale, and you probably got to dump that and get
hmm
new. And they're always a little mad at me when I tell them that. But anyway, we have to stop and listen to the news. That means you too, and we'll be back right after that happens.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBrine Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwsen.
And we are back. This has been the Jan Meeuwsen Bird Show this morning, which I absolutely love because I am one of those strange birder people. But I just want to jump in with a DeBrine thing. We have started our 2023 pet food drive for Furry Friends Pet Food Pantry. So if you've got some food that you bought and now your cat won't eat it or your dog doesn't like it, please bring it in because Furry Friends will find someone that will eat it. Or if you're at the store and you see some dog or cat foods on sale, please buy it and bring it in, put it under our tree. You'll get one of our 2024 pet calendars. We usually give, it's hundreds, thousands of pounds of bird feed, dog and cat food. So dog, cat, puppy, kitten, maybe even some ferret food, rabbit food. If you could bring it in and drop it off underneath our Christmas tree, we will make sure Furry Friends gets it. And a big thank you for your generosity. And now we're going back to Curtis Dykstra with the birding show.
Yes, and as long as we're on the topic of DeBrine Seed, I want to give a shout out to DeBrine for helping to support Coffee with the Birds. They have given us prizes that we give out at our drawings, door prize drawings, as well as prizes for the photo contest winners. So big shout out to the staff there at DeBrine, and thank you for your support of Coffee with the Birds. You also mentioned the calendar. So now,
yes, we have a calendar, but you have a calendar
we have
too.
a calendar too. So this last year we did our first calendar of the photo contest entrants, and we put some of our favorite photos from the contest into that. This year we handed off that responsibility to the Career Line Tech Center environmental class, and they've been great volunteers at our Coffee with the Birds events last year, and we're planning on them again this year. And we handed them some of our favorite pictures, and then they chose from that grouping which ones they wanted in the calendar. They put them in the calendar. Now, all of the winners that I mentioned at the beginning of the show, they're in the calendar. I said, these you have to make sure are in the calendar, but the rest of them, they chose and put them in the calendar. Now, we don't have our hands on the calendars yet, but they will be available at least by the 9th. And I did get a message just yesterday that they do have them, but we will have them at least available for $25 on the 9th, maybe before. So if you sign up for that email, you'll get a notice prior to, and we may have them available at the Nature Center, but all proceeds will go toward the Ottawa Area Intermediate School District. So they take cash or check only for those, and it's their project. It's their I guess it supports them. So
Yes.
so all payments get made to that class. But we're really excited that they're involved with Coffee with the Birds and that they helped to make the calendar this year. And I
That is
know,
fun. I know how hard it is to fit in every picture, and you think you got
yes,
it right, and you, oh no, this one really needs to go in May, and then you got to start all
yeah,
over again. And
yep.
yeah,
And if you want to know which pictures are in, you can go onto the website again, miottawa.org/birding, and you can watch the mug reveal event that we
oh,
did.
cool.
So we live streamed that, and it is now on YouTube on the Ottawa County Parks and Recreation YouTube site. And you can find it there. And if you watch that, we reveal all of the pictures that are in the calendar. So
Cool. So, I can take some of my pictures and how many pictures can I submit for this?
3.
3.
Yep,
Okay.
and 3 pictures is the limit, and they must be taken within the year
Oh,
prior
okay.
in Ottawa County. So those are the things. We're trying to promote birding in Ottawa County, so we have to draw a line somewhere. We say in Ottawa County from November 1st of 2023 to October 31st of 2024. So pictures you're taking right now can be entered into the contest for next year.
Cool. I'm so excited about this. And, even the ones I take in my backyard. I never knew I had so many birds in my backyard. I always, those are finches and those are sparrows and, occasionally a cardinal until I did the backyard bird count.
Yes.
And I'm using my Merlin going, what's that? And, oh, I've got that in my backyard. I was so impressed by how many different birds I truly do have. And honestly, the Merlin bird app, Curtis and I have nothing to do with it. We don't get any royalties from
No,
it.
oh no.
But I love that app. And when I found out I could use it for the sound of the birds too,
Mhm.
and you can record the sound and
Yes.
have them tell you what it is.
Yep.
It is so cool.
Yep.
Really easy to navigate through, I thought, at least. And
Yes,
I'm not
it is.
the biggest computer geek in the world.
And there's a few different things that you can do on it. You can identify it from your memory. So they'll ask you what size was it, what color was
Yeah.
it, where was it, what date, and that kind of stuff, and what was it doing. And after you answer those questions, it'll tell you what it thinks you maybe saw. So
Yeah.
you can scroll down the list of options. And it also does it from photos. So if you have a photo of the bird, you can upload it and it'll tell you what it thinks it is. And then it also has a birding resource. It's almost like an online bird book, but this is all free. So the app is free,
Yes.
but you can look up different bird species and see their pictures and listen to their bird songs and look at their range maps and things like that. So it's a really neat resource that anybody interested in birds should have on their phone.
Yes. And, you'd be surprised how many children love to watch birds.
Hmm.
When you have the grandkids over, they love to watch the birds.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a bird book right there. They can sit there and they can try find it. I love watching them watch the birds now
You
too.
bet.
And in the spring, I get on the lake behind me all kinds of different. I used to say they were just ducks, and Eldon Gray gave me, no, they're not just ducks. Look at them more closely. And you've got a really cool sighting this last week of a duck, or no, a goose.
Yes, yes. Right here by the studio, in fact, a window on the waterfront in Holland was a brant, B-R-A-N-T. It kind of looks like a Canada goose, but it's the size of a mallard. It has a black head, a gray body. Really extremely rare here in Ottawa County. And it was hanging out for about a week and a half, 2 weeks at window on the waterfront. So you practically could have seen it from the studio almost.
Well, I'll tell you, if you're just starting into birding and you want to see a lot of birds, window on the waterfront, and take your Merlin bird app or a good book with you,
Oh, yeah.
you would be surprised at what you think are just ducks.
Mm-hmm.
Take some binoculars and get a better look, because they're not just ducks.
And they're not just mallards, right? Lots of different species to
Yeah,
enjoy out there,
yes.
you bet.
Okay, we need to take our last break of the show, but we will be back after these quick messages.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBrine Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwsen.
And we're back with the Jan Meeuwsen Birding Show today with Curtis Dykstra from the Ottawa County Parks. We've been talking about all kinds of fun stuff, but I'll tell you, there's a lot of people that come in the store and they go, we don't have any birds in the winter. And, we don't have a huge variety of birds, but we've got a lot of birds.
That's right. And they're not singing. It's not the time of year where you're out and you're walking a lot to notice the birds, but they're there. And I can attest to that, especially on our lakes and rivers and things. The waterfowl diversity is great during the winter time. Pigeon Lake, Lake Makatawa, the Lower Grand River. If those stay open, we get lots of waterfowl and things. And we get unusual species sometimes. Northern shrike, or sometimes a snowy owl will show up. There's a lot of uniqueness to the birds that show up. We have a Christmas bird count every year sponsored by the Audubon Society.
Yes.
And that is coming up the weekend after Coffee with the Birds. And I'll be participating in that. I think it's the 16th, a Saturday. And we go out and we count birds. And we get in the vicinity of, I want to say, 75, 80 species by everybody in our count circle. So yeah, there's a lot of diversity of birds out there. And if you want to engage with those birds and kind of see how that works, I do lead a winter birding field trip in late February every year. So if you want to mark it on your calendar, and you can register, I believe it's online and available to register already. But on the 24th, I believe it's a Saturday, it's a winter birding field trip. And you can sign up for the morning part, which is a winter waterfowl, and we go to Pigeon Lake and look for waterfowl. And then the afternoon is birding the barrens, is what I say. And we go out into the farmland.
Yes.
Just to the east of 31 there, south of West Olive. And we look for all of the birds of the open areas. So snowy owls, snow buntings, horned lark, Lapland longspur. We get other hawk species like rough-leg hawk and things like that. So there's actually a lot of neat birds to see in the winter that you can't see at other times of the year.
And sometimes in the winter, you are the one that has to be quiet and still, because those, like the horned lark, I'm never ever going to see one, but I was still. And it moved, and I saw it, and I'm like, wow, they are here. So now I do see those things.
They're very camouflaged in the corn stubble and things that where they hide out.
There are some that you really have to look twice to see that that's a real bird down there.
I was just out there on Thursday afternoon and had all three of those. So the Lapland longspur, the snow bunting, and horned lark out there. So they're around right now. During the middle of the winter, they tend to be a little less, but then as we get later into the winter, then we already have migration starting. And some of these species already start to build numbers in late February. So it's a neat time of the year, and we get more sunshine at that time of the year too.
Yeah, the days are a little shorter right now to get out there and watch birds too much. But yeah, you are now. Does Carl Manning have a for the bird count, the Audubon bird count? Is he doing one of the?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
Carl Manning is he's in charge of the count.
Okay.
So you can connect with him, I believe, through the Owashnong Islands Audubon Society. So if you go on to oais.org, I think it is, Owashnong Islands Audubon Society, you should find his email address there and be able to connect with him if you have questions about the Christmas bird count. It's centered basically around Borculo, and a 7.5 miles circle around Borculo.
Okay.
So it goes out to Port Sheldon and up toward the southern Grand Haven Township, and just includes the north part of Holland here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I know the DeGraff Nature Center.
Yes.
Also does one, but they usually do it after Christmas.
Yes, there's one about the first of the year that they run, and that one does include Holland. Pretty much all of the Holland area. Yep.
And he used to do a nighttime with owls and the nighttime birds.
Yep. Oftentimes I'll do that at the end of the day or early in the morning, depending on how I'm feeling, right?
Yeah.
get out and add some owls to the count list.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, because they're out there too, folks. I mean, don't think that they flew south. They're still here with
Yep.
us.
Great horned owl, screech owl, barred owl, they're all there.
Just remember, they're not making as much noise this time of year because they don't have to defend for territory right now.
And I will say, though, that one of those owls is starting to make noise right now, and that's the great horned owl.
Really?
Post-Thanksgiving is when they really start to hoot things up.
Oh.
And yes, so now is actually a pretty good time. If you get a nice calm night with a full moon, go take a walk at night and listen for the great horned owl, because they're starting their mating right now and will be typically on nest in January.
Oh my
So
gosh.
they get a really early start, but it's a really haunting sound to be walking with. You see the crispness of your breath
Yeah.
in the moonlit air, and then you hear that whoo, 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 whoo,
Oh, that is
the
so
great
cool.
horned owl. So that right now they are active.
It's just too much fun. Every time, any time of the day, there's something out there that you can see. So don't think that there are no birds out there
That's
in the
right.
wintertime.
Plenty to see.
There is plenty of them to see. You might not see your scarlet tanager, but you know what? We've got cardinals that stay with us all winter
Yep.
long.
And one of the best ways is right at your feeders. So join us for coffee with the birds, and you can see the diversity of birds right out your window. Even though it's cold outside, you can enjoy fellowship and warmth and watch the birds right at the feeder with coffee with the birds or your own feeder setup at home.
Yes, that's right. And we can help you at DeBrine's with your feeder setup if you want to know what feeder goes with what food selection or what. We can help you with that. That's really fun. And it's best to start with a basic one and then work your way up to the, I want to do maybe just a peanut one and to work your way up into that. So it is
That's right.
fun once you know what's in your backyard and what will come. Okay. Adam's giving us the signs and throwing them at us here. So we know it's near the end of the show, but I have to thank Curtis. It's been fun to have you, and remind people that it is next Saturday starting at 9:30.
9:30.
9:30.
I will say 9:30. If you show up at 9:30, you may not have a seat.
I was just going to say my sister did last year.
9 o'clock, the Nature Center opens, and usually we've got a few people that want to come in right at 9 o'clock and grab their seats. So show up early if you want to show up to the 9:30 feeder watching session. Otherwise, sleep in a little bit and come at 10:30 for the presentation and stay for the second feeder watching session, which starts at about a little after 11 o'clock.
Okay. So, hey, at both sessions, you're going to see a lot of birds there.
And if you, yes.
There's never a time when those feeders things aren't just flying all over the place. Okay.
And remember, you can catch us online too. Just go to the website miottawa.org/birding, and you can find out more on how you can watch us online.
Wonderful. Well, until next week at 11:05, all I can say is go green.
You've been listening to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com. If you wish to hear this or other programs hosted by the Master Gardener from De Bruyne Seeds in Zeeland, check out the podcast section of our website, WHTC.com, and listen or download for free. The Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show is a presentation of 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.